Now, with your permission, I'm going to give you a little bit about what's on my little tiny mind today as I talk about the Torah reading again. But, this week's Parsha starts off with something interesting. Well, they always do, but this one says, Yaakov settled in the land where his father lived, the land of Canaan, which in English we call Canaan, which is Israel today. But actually, it's more than Israel. It's what Israel should have been, but we gave a lot of it back or gave it away. But he did. He settled there. But Rashi, the commentator, picks on something that this says, and he mentions, Rashi, of course, is that very famous French Torah commentator, and he says that Yaakov wanted to live in serenity. Serenity doesn't last long, especially in Yosef's case, Yaakov's case, because when Yosef died, according to what he was told, it shattered his dream. He couldn't get peace. He couldn't find serenity. He couldn't do anything. He was miserable because he thought his son died, which he didn't. Anyway, I got to admit that I find this explanation very curious, that Yaakov wanted to live in serenity. Yaakov was a tzaddik. There's no question about that. And he wanted peace and quiet. A tzaddik wants peace and quiet, wants to sit around, peace and quiet. Really? I have never met a truly good person who dreams of spending their life in an easy chair with a remote in one hand and a Long Island iced tea in the other. I have never met such a person. Good people usually want to do something to make the world a little better, just a little bit better than the way they found it. That's how good people are. They want to do more to help. That said, maybe Yaakov was not asking for a recliner and a Netflix or a Hulu subscription. Maybe that's not what he was asking for. And even if he was, they didn't have it back then. Maybe he wanted the kind of peace that lets you study Torah without distraction, to serve God with focus, and to be present for his family. Maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe he wanted a nice, clean study with windows that sparkled and you could easily see through. He wanted fresh air. Maybe that's what he wanted. That sounds holy enough, right? To get that, to study and learn. And, Rashi, the great Torah commentator, warns us to be careful. He says, no. The Yetzer Harah, the evil inclination, loves to dress up as comfort and spirituality. It likes to equate comfort with spirituality. If you're comfortable, if you're drinking your Long Island iced tea, sitting in a nice, comfortable, relaxing chair, watching your favorite shows on whatever, on TV, that's the same thing as spirituality. That's what the Yetzer Harah wants us to believe, the evil inclination. It whispers in our ear, if only things were perfect, then you could really serve God. Is anything perfect? In other words, to the evil inclination, to the Yetzer Harah, it's trying to keep us from doing anything good. Just sit there and wait till everything is perfect, and then you can help. It's like, let somebody else do it. You don't have to do it. But you and I know better. You and I know better than this. Our mission is not to accumulate comforts, but to grow as people. That's our mission in life. That's why we're here. That's why we're all here. Tikkun Olam, to help improve the world. The other day, Marilyn sent me a note, wants to give more money to Israel. That's what you do. Tikkun Olam, improve the world. We never stop. God provides what we need, and not always what we want. That's when we say the Shema. We said it just before, where it says, "And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might." Notice the word all each time. Not, yeah, do it a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't have to be that committed. That's not what the Shema is saying. This is a reminder. We do not just say these words once during our lives. No, we say them often. We say them at every weekday morning and evening service. Not the afternoon, but the weekday morning and evening service. It says in the Torah we should say them twice a day. We actually say it 3 times. If you're a traditional Jew, you say it 3 times every day. We also, for those of you who just come on Shabbat, you say it every Shabbat twice. Once on the morning, if that's when you come. And of course, if you come on the high holidays, you say them again. Shema Yisrael, and you say those V'yahavto words. Many even say these words every night before they go. When they climb in bed, they lay down and they say the Shema Yisrael and the V'yahavto before they go to bed. Or while they're in bed, I should say, before they go to sleep. We also say, you say the Shema, not the rest, when we are on our deathbed. It's part of the last rites. But we think of the rest. We know it's all there. But it doesn't matter how often we say them. It doesn't matter. We say them. We say them and we say them. And if you come once a year, you say them once a year. If you come every day, you sing at least once a day. But we recite these same words through our lives. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. But then, do we really do it? Yeah, we're masters. You and I, we're all masters at making excuses and rationalizations. We're phenomenal at that. I know I am. I don't know about you, but I'm sure that you could give people a run for their money with this. But I can't do it right now, you say. There's not enough time in the day. I'm too tired. I don't drive at night. I gave already enough. I don't have to give more to tzedakah. I'm too hungry. I can't do this or that. I don't like the people I'm forced to work with, so I'm not going to work with them. I don't like that person's politics. I'm not going near that person. My seat is too near the window. My seat is too far from the window. My seat is too close to the bathroom. My seat is too far from the bathroom. The print in our prayer book is too small. My foot hurts. My glasses are dirty. My throat is sore. I have nothing to wear. I'm having a bad hair day. My favorite team is being live streamed tonight. I can't go to synagogue. While the cantor could sing better, nothing in the world can help that verstunken rabbi. He's awful and full of himself. And we go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And I saw some of you laughing, all right? You know why we're laughing? Because we know it's true. Oh, no, not the part about me. That's not. But about everything else. We all have our rationalizations, and we're good at it. Oh, are we good at it? Sure, some of them may be valid, but is it not possible that this is really the Yetzer Harah, the evil inclination, poking its head and trying to influence us to not do anything good? It never stops trying to convince us that things must be just so before we do the right thing. And that, of course, that never happens. We all find comfort in saying, if only this or that, if only, if only, if only. And while we say if only, then we don't have to do anything. I'm not going to do anything because if only this is what, then I can do it. No, I'm not going to. You know what I mean. We all do it. Here is the God's honest truth. And we all know this too. I'm telling you everything we already know today. The greater something is in difficulty, the more difficult something is, the greater the reward when it's done. I don't remember who said it, but if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Right? The more difficult something is, the reward is better. True, it is only human to give in to comfort. That's true. We all want to give in to comfort. Even Yaakov found himself struggling with his difficulties, and boy, he had many. He longed for serenity, but life pulled him back into the struggle, never let him go. And in that struggle, he grew closer to God because he didn't stop. He kept on working and doing what he had to do to make the world a little bit better than the way he found it. That is the real lesson today. That is it. Holiness is not about perfection. No. Nobody's perfect. It's not about did we do all 613 mitzvot, because nobody can do 613 mitzvot, because some of them have nothing to do with us. It's about what we do with our lives. How do we live our lives? What kind of people are we? That's what's important. That is why we do not have to be that observant to be a good Jew. No, we don't have to grow payas. We don't have to do this or that. We can. It doesn't hurt. But that's not going to make us a good Jew. That's going to make us an observant Jew, but not a religious person. And there is a major difference. Yaakov ultimately remained close to his family and to God. He did. And he always rose to the occasion. He always did, no matter what people did to him. Our patriarchs and matriarchs were human beings. Don't ever forget that. They had emotions and desires, yet they modeled unwavering love for God. They did. May we too resist the Yetzer Harah and truly live the words that we recite. And you shall love Adonai with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. You know, tomorrow evening, we're going to light the first Hanukkah candle. Or as they say in English, the first Chanukah candle. And when we light it, let us remember that we should not strive for perfection to serve God, because only God is perfect. Look at those candles. They look so beautiful when they burn, and they drip all over the place, and they bend, and they're not perfect by far. They're not, but they're beautiful. We love to look at them. What we are told we need is a strong heart, an honest soul, and the might to tikkun olam, to improve the world even when the chair is a bit lumpy, when the window is drafty and dirty, the cantor may be a bit off key, and yes, even those very rare occasions when this rabbi may be more than just a little bit full of himself, even then, we have to do the right thing. Shabbat Shalom, and Am Yisrael Chai, and Chag Chanukah Sameach, all of us.